Welcome students to the chapter Digestive System. Students, we already know that alimentary canal consists of buccal cavity, esophagus, stomach, small intestine and large intestine. Rectum and anus, they both are part of large intestine. In this video, we are going to cover small intestine and large intestine. Students, we have learned bolus from esophagus enter the stomach, that is bolus. In stomach we have gastric gland which secretes gastric juice, hydrochloric acid and mucus. After the action of these three, food or bolus is further broken down into a fine pulp and is called chyme. Here we have two sphincter muscles, one guarding the opening of esophagus into the stomach and second pyloric sphincter muscles which guards opening of stomach into duodenum. So when pyloric sphincter muscles opens, small amount of food is passed out to duodenum and duodenum is the first part of small intestine. The intestines, small intestine and large intestine. Small intestine is approximately 6.25 meters to 7 meter long. Large intestine is 1.5 to 1.8 meters long. Now, as we just read, small intestine is longer in length than the large intestine. Still, it is called the small intestine. Don't you find it confusing? Why is it still called small intestine, though it is longer in length? Now, remember, small intestine is called small because actually it is larger in length than larger intestine. But why do we call it small intestine? Because on the basis of reference of its diameter. The diameter of large intestine is more than small intestine. So on the reference or on the basis of diameter, small intestine, it has small diameter. That is why the small intestine, the name given. The coiled tube of small intestine has three parts: duodenum, jejunum and ileum. Here we have got two figures. In the first one, we can see from the stomach we have the duodenum. That is, duodenum is a part which joins the pyloric sphincter muscles. From stomach the food is passed on to duodenum. Now the first part of small intestine is duodenum. In exams it can be asked which is the shortest segment or the first part of small intestine. It is duodenum. Duodenum is a shortest part. It is C-shaped part. It receives bile juice and pancreatic juice. In the figure second, here the blue part which is shown C structure, that is duodenum. And the next purplish mauvish color is jejunum. And the next we have ileum. So we learned that the duodenum is C-shaped part of intestine and it receives bile juice and pancreatic juice. The tube that runs from the stomach to the small intestine is called duodenum. After duodenum, the second part of small intestine is jejunum. The jejunum is where the majority of absorption takes place. Look at the figure here. The duodenum receives secretion from the liver as well as pancreas. Liver, which is reddish brown in color, it secretes bile juice to duodenum. Pancreas, which is leaf-shaped gland, it also releases pancreatic juice and it also falls in duodenum. The last part of small intestine is the longest part of small intestine. It is called ileum. Its wall has numerous finger-like projections called villi and singular villus. They absorb food digested in the intestine. The last portion of small intestine, which is called ileum, it compacts the leftovers to pass through into the large intestine. So from ileum, the food is passed on to the large intestine, that is cecum. Cecum is the first part of large intestine. So we can say from ileum, that is small intestine, the food which is digested is now next on passed on to cecum. But before we move further to large intestine, let's understand what happens in ileum, how the food is digested. The ileum is adapted to absorb digested food. Small intestine part, ileum, length provides a large surface area for digestion and absorption. That is, it is the chief site We learned in stomach the digestion starts, but mainly the food is digested and absorbed in small intestine. Please remember it that in stomach it starts, but it is mainly digested and absorbed in small intestine. If we cut and absorb small intestine part, ileum, we will find folds there. These folds has numerous, that is many finger-like projections called villi. In between villi, we can say the intestinal wall has intestinal glands which provides digestive juices which helps in complete digestion of carbohydrates, proteins and fats. Now what is a function? Now it provides a large surface area. It contains villi. So it is a main site for digestion. Just a recap, we learned that small intestine, it has large surface area, it has villi, and then the intestinal walls, it has intestinal glands which produces intestinal juices which helps in the digestion. Now once the digestion is complete, what happens to the food? The food is absorbed. The food is absorbed with the help of villi. The large intestine. After the small intestine, we have the organ, the large intestine. From the small intestine, food which is undigested or leftover food from ileum is passed on to the large intestine, and in the large intestine the first part is cecum. So cecum receives the undigested or leftover food from small intestine. So if it is asked in exam, which is the part of large intestine which receives the undigested or leftover food from small intestine, it is cecum. The large intestine has majorly 4 parts: cecum, colon, rectum, anal, canal. Now colon also has 4 parts: ascending colon, transversing colon, descending colon and sigmoid colon. The large intestine, majorly it eliminates the waste. Here the undigested food passes through the large intestine. Although shorter in length than the small intestine, it is called large because its diameter is greater than that of the small intestine. The large intestine is 1.3 meter, about 4 feet in length. Now we will talk about large intestine. Let's look at its part, major region, that is cecum, colon, rectum and anus. You can see next to cecum there is a small tube which is called vermiform appendix. It is a vestigial organ as it has no function in human body. In humans, cecum is also taken as vestigial. Now vestigial means no function. Why? Because it is the place of cellulose digestion. Most of the undigested food in humans is cellulose. Have you wondered why? Because in humans, in large intestine, cecum is the place to digest the cellulose, and in humans it is poorly developed. It is non-functional in humans, that is, it does not contain the bacteria to digest the cellulose. But in herbivores, they have the bacteria, the required bacteria to digest the cellulose. So they are able to digest the cellulose. But in humans, that is why it is also sometimes called as vestigial organ. Cecum opens in colon. Colon is an inverted U-shaped tube which is further divided into 4 parts: ascending colon, which goes upward, transverse colon, which goes sideways, then descending colon, that is downward, and then we have got sigmoid colon. From the colon, the undigested food is sent to rectum. All leftover waste is compacted and stored at the end of the large intestine called rectum. It is the last part of large intestine and is about 20 cm long. The terminal or end part of this rectum, around 2 to 3 cm, is called the anal canal, and final opening is called anus, which is guarded by anal sphincter muscles. Functions of large intestine. It absorbs water, though maximum absorption of water is in the small intestine, but whatever is absorbed in large intestine, amongst them water is maximally absorbed here. amino acids, vitamins, salts. So among these all three things, water is absorbed maximally here, but majorly water is absorbed in small intestine. Second function, it is the storage of undigested food. That is the leftover food in the form of feces or stool is stored here. And third one, it expels the feces from the anus, and the process is called egestion or defecation. Now we are over with the digestive system. The food which we eat and is digested, the various organs which participate, that is in the alimentary canal. When we eat food, it starts from the buccal cavity, that it is the opening here, and its end in the other opening, that is anus. So it is open end alimentary canal. From buccal cavity we read about esophagus, stomach, then small intestine, large intestine, and anus, which is a part of large intestine. Now we will talk about digestive glands, mainly salivary glands, liver, and pancreas. We read about gastric juices or gastric glands while we covered the stomach. Salivary glands produces saliva and its pH is around 7 to 8. We have got 3 pairs of salivary glands. When do we salivate? Salivation is a reflex action which is triggered by sight. When we look at any food, saliva automatically comes in our mouth, or smell, or thinking of food. As we read, we have got 3 pairs of salivary glands. They open in the buccal cavity and they secrete saliva. And saliva, it helps in lubricating the food. It sticks to the food particles together and it is called bolus. It cleanses the mouth, and the enzymes salivary amylase, it helps in the breaking down of food. Next, digestive glands, we have liver, gallbladder, and pancreas. Liver. Liver is the largest and heaviest gland in the body. It is reddish brown and weighs about 1.5 kg. It is below the diaphragm. If it in exam is asked which is the largest organ of the body, it is skin. If it is asked which is the largest visceral organ, that is the internal organ. When we say visceral, it is internal. When we say vestigial, that means no function. Pay attention to the words. Vestigial organ means no function, whereas visceral means interior or internal organ. So if in exams it is asked which is the largest visceral or internal organ of the body, then it will be liver. Now you can see the green color gallbladder next to the liver. There are many animals which do not have gallbladder, like horse, zebra, donkey, rhinoceros, pigeon, whale, and many more. Basically, the function of gallbladder is to store the bile juice, which is made by and secreted by liver. It is stored in the gallbladder. Remember, a person or an animal may live a healthy life even without gallbladder. Now look at the structure of gallbladder. Gallbladder in the picture here, it is of green color. Now it is pear shaped, anashpati की तरह दिखता है, and gallbladder in actual can be seen in bluish or pouch like structure. Now next is pancreas. Pancreas is pink colored leaf shaped structure. It is the second largest gland in human body. Pancreas produces pancreatic juices. It contains enzymes to digest sugar, fats, and proteins. Look at the figures here. The first one, we have got a pancreatic duct and a common bile duct. Common bile duct comes from the duodenum as well as from the liver. Now, from gallbladder, bile juice is released by bile duct to duodenum. This common bile duct from gallbladder meets pancreatic duct here before emptying into the duodenum. So basically they both join together before it empties itself to the duodenum. Let's have a look here. The liver, gallbladder and pancreas are all located around the stomach, but they do not affect the food until it is in the duodenum. That is, bile juice which is produced from the liver, it is stored in the gallbladder, but until it is released to duodenum, it does not affect the food. So to digest the food which is present in the duodenum, the bile juices are to be secreted by liver, which is stored in the gallbladder later on, is released from gallbladder to duodenum. That is a part of small intestine. Pancreas is also, it produces pancreatic juices, it secretes them, which contains the digestive enzyme into the small intestine, that is the duodenum. So here we finish with the digestive glands and the topic 2.